Hi, Graham here with the latest updates from We Share Abundance. We Share Abundance is a cloud nation. We're an emerging nation, been around a little over 5.5 years, or almost 5.5 years, putting in solid foundations to be here for many generations to come. We are now in the process of expanding our economy, and this will benefit all our citizens because they all hold our currency. We know that because we give it to our citizens free every month. Anybody can become a citizen. There's no fee, no obligation. We're also a non-separatist community. That means that we're not going to separate you into a group based on where you come from, what you look like, or anything else. We very simply see everyone as a human being, part of one big family of humanity, all linked together, all individually unique, all having something unique to offer our community, all of equal value to our community, all equally loved by our community. We have an affirmation in a moment that'll help us with that after our opening prayer, which is there to help us find true happiness in life. Not short-term pleasure that you'll get anyway when you pay off your debts and move to the home you've always wanted, or travel the world, or whatever your goals are. We'll help you to achieve them. But underneath that, you'll have that ever new joy every day that you wake up, full of life. It'll carry you through the day, and you'll go to bed still feeling that joy, no matter what's happened in your life. Sometimes there'll be days of extreme happiness and sometimes days of immense sorrow. But underneath it all, you will have that level, that peace, that calmness within. And that is true happiness. And you can only get that through loving service to other people. And the more service you offer to the more people, the more you'll feel that, and the more everything else that you want and need in life will be attracted to you. That's what our very short little prayer is about. And so we're going to get started with that in a moment, but let me welcome you, whether you are watching live or whether you're watching this as a recording. All these events are recorded because we stream into YouTube and Facebook. They automatically record it. A lot of people, it's just not convenient for them to be here at 7 p.m. London time. So it's wonderful that we have the facilities nowadays to provide these replays, and they're available for everybody. The advantage of being here live, of course, is that you can interact with other members that are here live, and you can ask any questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them for you in full. So with that said, let's get started with a little prayer and affirmation. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so happy and grateful for you, and we ask that you bless the We Share Abundance community, that it may fill each member's heart with unconditional love, and that through that love, bless each member that they may find the joy of service, and through service, attract true happiness and everything they need into their life. Amen. And our little affirmation: we're so happy and grateful to be citizens of the United States of the world, with God and truth as our leaders. Heavenly Father, may thy kingdom of peace come into our world as it is in heaven, and free us all from divisive inharmony, that we may become perfect citizens in body, mind, and soul of thy world. Okay, let's have a look who we've got in. We have Peter, top of the pops. He's in from Cameroon. And then we've got Ron from Amsterdam in Holland. Have I missed anybody? Just a minute. It's difficult. It's scrolling for me. Ron. yeah, now we've got Sayanda as well from South Africa, Lewis from Lisbon in Portugal, Bozina from Slovakia, Ramachandra from Watford in England, Norman from Doncaster in England, Andrea from Washington State, USA, Pierre from South Africa, Derek from West Palm Beach, Florida, Eric from Gatineau, Quebec in Canada, Bozina from Edinburgh in Scotland, Richard from Devon in England, and Nankiep from Nigeria. And there may well be others that join us in the meantime. We are currently in a very early stage, really, of pre-launch for the TIR plan because it is difficult to get everything right in those initial stages, covering the free members and the bronze membership, which is what drives the system. But you know, any system, any community is only as good as the people that it has within that community, within that country. You know, when I was growing up, you know, a teenager back in the 1950s or whatever, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand all were just bringing people in to their country. They just needed more people. And for £10, which was not a fortune, but it was a lot more than it is today, just for £10, you could emigrate to any of those countries and they would put you up when you arrived, teach you a trade, get you a job, find you housing. They'd really look after you. They just wanted people, more and more people. And those days are now gone. But most countries still need to grow in population, not in devastating numbers as a percentage of their population. You know, when you've got a population of 50 million, you don't want a couple of million coming in every year. It's too many to assimilate. It's too big a percentage. But to have 100,000 or something coming in, bringing them into your community, assimilating them and getting them used to what it's like to live in your country, that's a different matter. And that is the stage where most of the world is at today. They can accept a small percentage of their total population to be increased through immigration of people that can benefit their community. But back in, like I say, the 1950s, they just wanted people because they had so much land, they had so much potential to expand and grow, but they didn't have the people. And you know, that's where We Share Abundance is now. Now, you may think we've got a lot of members registered. We've got 50-odd thousand people registered in We Share Abundance. But really, we're a cloud nation and we should be looking at not 50,000, but 50 million people in our community. And that is even then a drop in the ocean of the number of people that are online. And what are we offering? Well, most people are interested in money, but money won't buy you happiness. But money is essential in life. You need money to go through life, to pay your bills, to pay your rent, buy your food, book clothing, send your children for education, whatever. Money is essential, but it won't buy you happiness. Happiness comes from being a useful part of a community. Happiness comes as being a useful part of a community. Once again, let's go back to the 1950s when I remember England as it was, and people knew everybody in their street. because everybody walked everywhere and they saw everybody. And the kids used to play together, and the parents knew the kids of other families. And it was a community within a community. Just that street was a community within a larger community of the village or the town or whatever it was that they lived in. And if we look back at our mission, and I've got it here, I have a little black book and it's filled with comments and thoughts and everything that I have on a daily basis. Not that every day I write something in here, but every day I read something from it. And way back on page, well, the pages aren't numbered, but the first page, I got, no, my specs aren't here, so I'm going to have to manage without them. The first page has got some little prayers, if you like, on it. But the second page has got our mission on it. And our mission is to build a community of like-minded people who seek more than just material gains. We want to build a community of people that are looking for more in life than just give me the money, give me the money. You know? Yeah, we all need money. But by building the community, we will generate income for everybody. Our mission is to build a community of like-minded people who seek more than material gains. A community built around service to others. And in doing so, create a sustainable economy, helping over 100 million families find hope and extra income by making the Visa tokens valuable assets. This in turn will generate additional income to be used for charitable work focused on curing causes of suffering rather than treating the symptoms. And that was the mission that I wrote down many years ago when I started this little black book. And as I say, you may think that 50,000 people is a lot of people. But we used that 50,000 people like that in the 777 plan. And now we've got thousands of places there paid for with nobody to fill those positions. And the TIR plan is a wonderful plan. And it can make people wealthy, but it's not really about that wealth. It's about building that community. It's about you helping other people to find just a little bit of stability in their life financially, and to find the joy of helping other people do the same. When we launched We Share Abundance, we had a plan. It didn't work, but the plan was you paid $100 and you received $50 a month. And people flocked in. But it didn't work. It wasn't sustainable. But now we have TIR, and we put it in a separate domain, totally separate, because we don't want it hindered by the ghosts of the past. We want it to be fresh and clean for everybody. And it's even better because you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay anything at all. And you will get to a point where you're making $40 a month. Now, for some people, that's not a fortune. And for some people, they may say, okay, I'm not really interested in $40 a month. But for a lot of people, it's quite a big amount. And you know, the figures show that I think in 1973, $200 extra in a household in the United States of America, just $200 extra per month in the household of a family in the United States of America would have eliminated 90% of the bankruptcies. Think about that, just $200 in what is considered to be one of the richest countries in the world could make that massive difference in a family. Now we're offering $40 to people. You can come in, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to share it. You don't have to do any work. And in time, and it shouldn't be very long, in all honesty, it should probably be less than a month, you'll be earning $40 a month. But it needs people. And if you're saying, well, okay, $40 isn't so much to me, but I need $200, you're making that $40 to start with. And everybody that you help get through and make that $40, you're going to earn $40 with them. So if you introduce just 4 people and you own $40, that's $40, that's $200 a month. That stops you going bankrupt in one of the richest countries in the world. You need a bit more. Introduce a few more people. We need people. It's not about the money. If they come in with no money, that's fine. We can look after that. We can provide the way forward for everybody. But we need those people. We need everybody to get out there and spread the word and invite people in. Now, there is a situation at present where if you're not a paid member of TIR, you can't refer others. And that is perhaps counterproductive. And so I'm going to be looking at that and possibly finding a way to revise it. But at the moment, that is the situation. Now, a paid member doesn't have to put their hand in their pocket. They can be paid for by another member or by the system. Not immediately now, as we are. Well, you can be paid for by another member now. The system part isn't yet programmed. That development isn't there. We're still in developing things for that program, but it will be there. And so what we're looking at really is getting people paid into the system within a few days. And that is why we don't want people that have no skin in the game, if you like, referring others. We want people to be able to say, okay, I'm in. It costs me nothing. I'm already making money. I've already been given 2 people that pay my subscription month after month after month. I've already got to the point where I'm in the next part of the plan. You know, we want that to be there, and we're going to want your testimonials. We're going to want your social proof, it's called in the business world, of how this plan is working for you. And that is going to be very, very important, but we need people. We're not interested in whether they can come in with $250 or not. It's advantageous to them if they can, but it doesn't really make any difference to the system. What we need are people. The more people, the better. The more people that you can refer, the better. It doesn't matter whether you retain them yourself, because they're always going to benefit you, because they're going into that community matrix. They are going in, building the matrix, helping people get through and make that initial $40 a month. Now, if you're living in the Philippines or Nigeria or Ghana or Venezuela, lots of different countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, $40 a month is a significant change in your lifestyle. And if you want to make more than $40 and you share it with other people and they're making that $40 and you're making an equal $40, that can be literally life-changing in some of those countries that I've mentioned. And as I said, even in the United States, $200. Okay, it might be $300 or $400 in today's world. I don't know. But I think it was 1923. $200, they reckoned, would have saved 90% of the bankruptcies that went through in that year. $200, just $200 extra income for referrals. And it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there, because by the time you're making that $40, you're already in the next level. You're already in that silver plan. And what we're giving as products are different levels of how to manifest what you want in life. You know, some people think manifestation is hogwash. I don't know how I really ever got so involved in the power of the mind. I've always believed in it for some reason. Maybe it's because when I was a kid and we had a turkey or a chicken, and often we had chickens for dinner in those days. They were a luxury. They were more expensive than some other meats. But if you know anything about the anatomy of a chicken or a turkey, they have a wishbone. And of course, that wishbone was carefully taken out of the bird, certainly at Christmas, and somebody would get to pull the wishbone with somebody else. And the one that got the biggest portion of that wishbone had their wish granted. And I was always taught to wish for things like good health, happiness, not for a toy or money or, you know, some of these tangible things. I was taught to wish for things that are more important. I'm not sure that people are listening to that today. You know, they think it's important to have, you know, as a kid, if you haven't got a cell phone, well, you know, you're out in the cold. It didn't matter what you had when I was a kid growing up, you know, because we all mucked in together. We played together in groups. We played kick can. Some people had a ball and they had a ball, but we'd find an old can and we'd kick that down an alley, and then, you know, so maybe it stemmed from that, being taught to think about things like health, and it's always stood me in good stead. And I've always believed that what you really truly want in life, and you have the will to go after it, you can achieve it. And because of that, money has never been important to me. I've never really valued money. And people put too much value on money. Money is simply a tool. And money, you can have a lot of it or it can disappear. What's important in life is having value. Because if you have value as a person, and it may be your trade, it may be that you're a plumber or an electrician, school teacher, doesn't matter what you have, that is your value. And you'll never lose that And that value you exchange for money that you can then buy food with. But if you don't have any value, you're going to always struggle to have the money. But it's the value that's important. It doesn't matter what happens to money, whether it goes up, down, sideways, disappears altogether, whether it's in crypto, whether it's in fiat, it doesn't matter. Because if you have value, you will attract whatever you need, whether it's, I mean, you can barter. You could be a plumber and you could say, okay, I'll fix your sink. I know you're growing some vegetables. I'd like a pound of potatoes, a cabbage, and a few tomatoes. Is that okay? Have we got a deal? Yeah, boom. Okay. No money involved, but it's value. You've exchanged value for something that you need. And that value is always going to be there. People that concentrate on money, how do I get more money? How do I get more money? They may build money, but it'll disappear quickly. They may win the lottery, but it'll not make them happy. Value is in what you can offer to other people. And we can offer to other people more than just money. We can trade, growing as a community, as value. And that value can be reflected in what people receive as cash. And some people will be happy with $40 a month. Some people will want 80, some people will want 200, but it will continue to grow anyway because of those additional levels that will automatically be paid for. But we need those people. It doesn't matter how much money they've got or not got. We're not interested. I don't care if they've got $1 million or if they've got nothing at all and they're struggling. In fact, the ones that have got nothing at all and they're struggling, we can help faster than the people who have got $1 million. But what we can help for the people that have got $1 million is we can help them find the happiness in life that they're seeking, because that money that they've got won't buy them the happiness. The happiness will come through following the training that we're going to offer in the bronze, silver, and gold levels of thinking into reality. And I started off by saying about manifestation. You know, people say it's hogwash. I think it was about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. I can't remember the exact date. The car I had, which was an old, well, it wasn't that old, but it was about 10 years old, but it blew up. And the garage told me it was unrepairable and it was scrap. And I didn't have much money, very little. In fact, we were a bit hand to mouth, as we tend to be most of the time. But, you know, I have a little prayer that I say, and I say to God, I say, dear Heavenly Father, I care not what I may personally possess, but give me the power to acquire at will whatever I daily need. And, you know, for me, that's enough. I don't want a load of possessions. I've got friends that are millionaires, and most of them are worried about what's going to happen to their money. How can I protect it? How can I go? I don't have those worries. I don't have anything, okay? But that's beside the point. So my car blew up, and I scrapped it, and we had, I think, we got 400 or 410 pounds for that car. And if you know anything about buying a car in the UK, you know you can't get one for that. I mean, you can't even, well, you can perhaps pick up a breaker for spare parts or something like that for that sort of money. So I didn't know what I was going to do, because we needed a car for where we live and to be able to look after my wife and my dog and get them out of the house and get them to a place where they could walk and where we could do the shopping and this sort of thing. And so I said about manifestation. Heavenly Father, guide me, help me, lead me to the vehicle. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know whether I was going to generate money or whatever. In fact, I was looking at car. The cheapest car I could find were about £1,500. I didn't have that, but I thought, well, if I find one, somehow it'll all work out. Because I know I have that faith that whatever I need, I will attract into my life. And we needed a car. So I was ringing around people and, oh no, that one's been sold. Oh, we've got one. Is it roadworthy? Well, it probably needs a bit of work. And it was up in Birmingham or somewhere where, you know, I couldn't even afford to get up there to pick it up and this sort of thing. And, but I, for a few days, I'd been meditating and praying and manifesting a vehicle. This is only one story of manifestation. I've got many of them, but this is one. And what happened was I rang up after a vehicle. It was £1,500, I think. In fact, I'm sure it was £1,500. And the guy at the garage said, oh no. He said, that's just been sold. I said, okay. I said, have you got anything else? He said, no, not in that price range. He said, we've got something a lot cheaper. I said, well, how much? He said, 300 quid. I said, what is it? He said, oh, it's an old Vauxhall Corsa. He said, P-Reg. I said, what's P-Reg mean? He said, oh, well, it was registered, I think, in 1997. He said, I think P-Reg. So I said, does it work? Does it run? He said, yeah, it runs. He said, it's got MOT till July. I think this was in about February. And I said, how much is it? He said, 300 quid. I said, I'll have it. He said, you've not seen it. I said, I don't care, I'll have it. I'll be down to pick it up. So I'd got £400. I phoned up a taxi firm to get me to pick it up. And I said, how much will you charge me to get there? He said, well, you don't want to do that on the meter. He said, it'd cost you a fortune. He said, but I've not got a lot on at the moment. I'll do it for you for 100 quid. So the 300 plus the 100, that was my money gone. So I got the taxi, went down there and I bought it and we drove it home and it got us home all right, but it smelled of petrol. So the next day I got onto a local garage and I said, you know, got a car, just bought, smells of petrol, can you have a look at it? So they did. It needed a petrol pump fixing. And by that time I'd managed to earn another £120 approximately. And he said, yeah, the petrol pump needs changing. He said, it'll be £115. I said, okay, do it. So it all worked out. Manifestation. Does it work? Yes, it does. I've got a lot of other stories I can tell you, but that is one. Now, I'm going to teach you how it all starts. I'm going to give you the basics, the groundwork in the bronze level. And you're going to get a little bit of a lesson every month. When you get to silver level, you're going to get expansion on those lessons, and you're going to get something that is weekly that you can do that moves you forward, using the power of your mind, getting your will into gear. And by the time you get into that gold level, we'll be at the top level, and I'll be bringing in other people to help with that. And I'll be relating my experiences, what I go through, what I do. But the important thing is not to just be there and listen, it's to be there and put it into practice. Because you can have anything that you want in life as soon as you deserve it. And that is the important distinction. As soon as you deserve it. Okay? And so that is what we're doing for products. But as you go through those levels, financially, you're going to be increasing your income. And it's going to be going up and up and up, month after month, sometimes day after day. It won't be hour after hour because we're only running things on a daily basis. But day after day, you can be seeing increases in your income, more money there. But the important things are, one, what you learn through being a part of the community. And two, the joy you will get from helping other people find a little bit of financial stability, because you need that before you can start thinking about expanding your mind and about expanding the way that you look at life. Because if you're struggling all the time just to make ends meet, that's what you're constantly just worried about. How am I going to pay the bill? How am I going to put food on the table? How am I going to get the money for this? And like I say, it's not about the money, it's about the value. And your value will be built by the number of people you help. That is your value. You don't need to get them to pay anything, to buy anything. You need them to see the light, to get involved, to help other people get involved, to grow the community, to grow themselves, to start thinking about the big self of your spirituality, rather than the little self of how much can I make doing this, how much can I squeeze out of that guy. Just thinking about how many people can I help, how many people can I get into TIR, because I know they're all going to benefit, no matter where they are now. If they're that millionaire that's still not happy, we're going to teach him how to be happy. If they're that person that, spends a happy life, really, they're always jolly and free and boom, but they got no money, but they managed to, muddle through, and we're going to help them go even further. And even the people that are finally at rock bottom, they're your shooting stars. Because when you hit rock bottom, you can't go any further down. There's only one way you can go, and that is up. And once you've started ascending, you can't stop yourself. You go to the top. Okay. So that is TIR, and that is what we're working on. And that is what Vishal has been working on today. I've been missing most of the day today, but I do know that. We also did get the code released for Fun Miracles. Devian has been working on that. She reckons it's going to take her another 2 hours at least to understand the code before she can start working on the back end. And she's not going to be here till Monday. Vishal is not going to be here till Wednesday. So development-wise, we're a little bit of a standstill. But we are moving forward. And it will give me the opportunity. Today, the little bit that I did, I'm working on what we need in the admin area for TIR. And I need to get that completed. And then hopefully tomorrow I'll get on to Fun Miracles, and we have the pages in there now. I'll be able to get in there and start expanding the explanation of Fun Miracles, because that in itself is a wonderful, wonderful program. And it'll be nice when you are able to see that and you'll be able to promote that. And people can come along and play totally free. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they get involved in the $2 game or not. They can come along and just enjoy playing the game and seeing how many points they can get and having a bit of fun. And it'll bring them into our community. And as I say, what we're about is building a community of like-minded people who seek more than just material gains. Money will never, ever buy you happiness. There are lots of miserable millionaires. I'll tell you that for nothing. I know a lot of millionaires. Most of them aren't miserable because I don't associate with miserable people. But many of them I've helped find more happiness through little bits of stuff that they picked up from just being friends and seeing the way that I go about my life. I've not taught them anything. They've learned. I've not tried to teach them or tell them anything. But they've picked up things that allow me to be happy all the time. And they thought, okay, seems to work. And then they've adopted some of these things. You have dynamic will. It just needs awakening. We're going to help you awaken that through thinking into reality. You may be feeling that all you want is money. It's there. You can make a lot of money through thinking into reality. But it won't make you happy unless you're doing things the right way and helping other people. Okay? So development-wise and everything, that's where we are. I'm hoping I can read. I wrote them without glasses, so hopefully I'll be able to read them. The light's still not too bad. We have an increase of 2 in the 777 plan to 45,406. An increase of 11 in our registered members to 54,136. Like I say, that's a drop in the ocean. We're going to need millions for TIR. Without those millions, it's going to slow down. We need millions coming in. It's up to all of us to just keep bringing in a few, helping a few people change their lives financially, mentally, spiritually. Okay. Same 11 in the active member count goes up to 3,489. We had an increase of, I think it's 3. No, it isn't, sorry. No change in, get into the light better. There, that's better. Yeah, okay, no change in the Success Blueprint 30, excuse me, not looking at you. No change in the Easy Team Builder 1,144. Up 3 in the Best Plan Ever to 907. And no change in the Success Blueprint Powerline paid members, remaining at 778. Okay, we managed that without the specs. Not bad, eh? Okay, so that pretty much covers it. Let's have a quick look, see if we've got any questions. And I'm not sure where we were up to with welcoming people either. I know we had Ramachandra, we had Norman. I think we had Andrea from Washington State, Pierre from South Africa. Derek from West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm not sure we had, but I think we had Eric from Quebec, so maybe we had both of them. Bozina from Edinburgh, I know we had. Richard from Devon we had, so maybe that was where we got up to. We got Nankiep from Nigeria. We got David from South Africa. And we got Deborah from Southern Alabama, USA. Anyway, I've rabbited on enough. But I am excited by what we have. We can help so many people. It's said that everybody knows at least 200 people, and yet most people don't bring in one or two people. I'm not criticizing them because everybody is a little bit different. But if everybody brought in two, just two, over their lifetime, we would flourish. If everybody brought in two a month, we would very quickly become the most powerful opportunity that has ever been seen. And if we can average 2 or 3 or 4 a month, because some people will bring in a lot of people, we're going to make the world shake, okay? And we're going to have a powerful community that can make changes in the way that things operate in the world, because we'll have the power of the people. The people will be financially stable. They'll have the right mindsets. We'll be able to go about life in a way that benefits the world in general. But we need the people. Without the people, country has nothing. And that's why, as I say, back in the 1950s, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, £10, boom, you could go there and they'd look after you. You didn't have to go in a rubber dinghy, land illegally or anything, you know. People are what make things happen. People are the lifeblood of any community. The more people you help, the better you'll feel. Yeah, you'll make more money as well, but that's not what's important. The important thing is you'll be happier, and you'll be making those people happy, and you'll be getting so much joy from seeing their success, no matter where they are now in life. Okay, I can't see any questions, so that's it from me. God bless you all, and I'll be here tomorrow, Friday. Hopefully I'll have got a bit of stuff done on Fun Miracles by then. I can't promise it, but we have got it signed off. We do have the code. We do have the page that I can start working on. I do have quite a lot of other things I always have to do as well, but hopefully I'll be able to get something there that maybe we'll be able to display tomorrow. Okay, until then, I'll be here 7 p.m. as usual, streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And I love you all. I'm really proud of what we're all building together and where we are going as that community of like-minded individuals who seek more than just material gains in life. God bless.